Hi, I'm Tinny from minibulldesign, and today, what a surprise, I'm out on the back deck cooking blueberry muffins. The difference this time is I'm using a totally different stove, and it's pretty much a paradigm shift from what I've been doing. It's a stove that is all enclosed, the fuel is all in the base. It's all aluminum with a silicone heat dam on the top, but it has a very small wick. And my paradigm shift is I've been using too much heat to bake. And the reason I say that is I've been watching John from Flat Cat Gear, and he's cooking an entire, same thing I'm cooking though, just add water, Betty Crocker muffin mix, cooking an entire muffin mix with one espit tab. So I kind of did the math on that and thought about it, and I thought if he can do it with one espit tab, I should be able to do it with like a half an ounce of alcohol or less. And my burners are burning 3/4 to an ounce, so I need to make my burners smaller. Not as small as so that the heat output is as low as the espit tab, but a happy medium in between the two. I've been able to cook these muffins in 15 minutes with my burners. That's too fast. So what I've got is, I've got a burner in there that's only a 1/2 inch, coming up to a 1/2 inch hole. And I'll bring the camera over and you can look at it. And it's probably putting out 1/3 of the heat of the other ones that I have been using. Now, I ran this in the factory under ideal conditions on top of my wood stove, with this time with a windscreen tightly wrapped around it. And I ran it, it burned for a half an hour on a little over an ounce. I didn't really measure it, I'm guessing. And as soon as it went out, I took it off and I could take right a hold of the bottom of the base and pick it right up. Bottom base wasn't even hot. So the heat dam is definitely working in this with this low heat. And even though the windscreen is tightly around it, it doesn't seem to be heating up the base enough to boil the alcohol. And that's what I was looking for. So I really think, I'm pumped this time, I really think that this design is going to work. I'm really hoping. And it looks the most promising thing I've had yet. So I'll turn the camera back on here in about 15 minutes, and we'll see what we've got. Give it the old poke test. And if it's anywhere near done, I can just turn the heat off and set it down and let it finish cooking without any heat. That's worked very well for me in the past. So we'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay, the wind is blowing, so I'm having a hard time keeping the flame underneath the stove. And if I put the windscreen in tight to really block the wind from blowing the flame around, the stove's overheating. Now I did this out in the factory on setting it on the wood stove with a right in like that, and it never overheated at all. So I'm wondering what's different out here. Okay, what's different? Out here it's setting on an insulated surface. It's not pulling any heat away. In the factory it was setting on a cold metal stove, and evidently the stove was continually pulling the heat away from it so it couldn't overheat. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go with even a smaller wick, and I'm going to put something underneath it to keep its feet cool, like a small pan of water. And I think that will do it. But in the meantime, I'm at 30 minutes. I've blown the stove out, and I'm going to let it set here until it cools down. I'm going to go to the post office, and when I come back, I think we're going to have a nice blueberry muffin. So, see you when I get back from the post office. Okay, I'm back from the post office, and we stopped at a yard sale. It was just a couple of doors up right across from the fire station, and I bought a great big shop vac for 20 bucks, pretty near brand new. This one I bought, the one I already have, is here, and this is the one I bought. Life is good. So let's get back to this cake and take it out and see how well it came out. Now I'm going to do this again a little later, and this time I'm going to put the stove, I'm going to take one of these 10 centimeter pots and I'm going to cut it off about right there and fill it full of water, and I'm going to set this stove right so its feet are right in the water, and I think that'll be a workable stove that won't overheat. You can see how small the wick is on it, just a small wick. But it works great. You can see there's the cake. Didn't burn on the bottom at all. What's not to like? See what she looks like inside. Completely done inside. Life is good. I can't find fault with that. So, it's a good stove. It just tends to overheat. Now I'm going to put his feet in water like the old, what was it, the old black flies that had a water jacket on it? We might experiment around with that a little bit. It's worth it to have a stove that doesn't require a remote. Getting away from the remote is a big jump forward, because although I would definitely use a remote in a shelter or something like that, because you have just infinite amount of heat, especially if several people are using the stove. But when you're out on the trail and you're working with uneven surfaces and not, I think this would work much better. And that's what I'm going to work towards, is getting a stove that's a standalone stove without a remote. So I'm going to go have some blueberry muffins. Footnote. The Betty Crocker Just Add Water mixes are amazing. You just add water and cook them. And I've pretty much got down cooking them down pat. But they're a little low in flavor. But I found a way around that. Beth told me. Butter. If when they're warm or even after they're cold, if you put butter on them, it brings the flavor right out. Now butter is real high calorie stuff. It's about as high as you can get. It doesn't travel well, but I think there's ways around that. There's different ways to treat it. And, you know, for me, I'm never out. Usually it's an overnight, so butter's not a problem. And it's definitely on my list of things to take with me. Butter. Butter's good stuff. Butter and bacon. Life is good. I'm Tinny from minibulldesign. Get out and hike. Take a friend. Enjoy the great outdoors. And more important than anything, try to have a really great day. Try to have some fun today. Maybe go out back and do some baking. Bye-bye.